economics and senior fellow at the America First Policy Institute, Ken Timmerman. So you have, Lebanon and Israel extending their ceasefire by 3 more weeks. So where do they go from here? What gets resolved?
Well, first, Rob, this is tremendous good news for both Lebanon and Israel. I've been in those areas along the border between Israel and Lebanon during the war in 2006 and at other times as well. The Hezbollah rockets have done tremendous damage to Israel and to Israel's economy. The big sticking point, obviously, as your correspondent said, is what Hezbollah is going to do. And Hezbollah is being, how should I say, their sails are getting trimmed by the Israeli Air Force. And they have an awful lot of rockets still in underground caves. I visited some of those underground caves many years ago in Beirut. They have been building for years. So it's going to take the Israelis a long time to root them out. If they can by air power, it may be something that the Lebanese government has to do.
So, let's talk about the Iran-U.S. situation. Trump said yesterday he's not going to be rushed into, negotiations or ending the war. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I don't want to rush it. I want to take my time. We have plenty of time, and I want to get a great deal. I want to get a deal where our nation and the world is safe from lunatics with nuclear weapons.
So the importance of that, obviously, as negotiators, if they actually sit down with the Iranians, they can say, hey, look, he's in it for the long haul. And instead of a political timetable, which I think the Iranians are hoping for, with the midterms coming up and the gas prices going up, that maybe they could wait out the U.S. on this side.
Yeah, and ironically, Rob, it's the Iranians and the Democrat Party and the formerly mainstream media in the United States. They are all united on this, and they think that Trump is under the gun, that Trump is worried about gas prices, and of course he's concerned about gas prices. But what they fail to understand is that the Iranian regime is under the gun. And they're under the gun because they're running out of oil storage. When they run out of oil storage, they have to shut down the oil wells. When they do that, they're in really big trouble. Their economy goes south. They cannot meet payroll. The last time this happened, they had massive protests on the streets, not just of Tehran, but all over the country. The blockade is a brilliant move by the president that has been completely misrepresented in the media and by Democrats. He has basically got the Iranians literally over a barrel.
Yeah. Well, and when you said, the Iranians and the Democratic Party, you failed to mention, and the media. they're 3 in the same. Here's Pete Hegseth earlier today talking about the U.S. making a deal with Iran.
It's a bold and dangerous mission, a gift to the world, historic, courtesy of a bold and historic president. That mission continues today. In this new phase, as Iran has an important choice, a chance to make a deal, a good deal, a wise deal.
Do they make a deal? And with whom are we making a deal? It's like, it's one thing to have a team across the table that can sign it. It's another to not know who's walking in the room and whether or not you're actually negotiating with the right people.
You are so right about that, and the president has mentioned this. We know who the leader is here in this country. We don't know who the leader is over there. And you hear a lot about there being 2 factions. It's not hardliners and moderates. Robert Gates, former Secretary of Defense, talked about this over 20 years ago. The search for the elusive moderate in Tehran. It's as rare as a pink unicorn. They don't exist. Even the president, Pezeshkian, who is said to be a, quote, moderate, and he's not, he said, we are all revolutionaries. We're all part of the regime, and that is the truth of it. But they do have 2 different negotiating strategies. Pezeshkian and Arakchi and the technocrats in the regime, they understand the oil deadline. They understand that they have to negotiate because of that deadline, because then their economy is going down the tubes. The Rev Guards, Vahidi and the rest of them, they don't want to negotiate because they think it will show weakness of the Revolutionary Guards. And if they show weakness to the Iranian people, they think the regime will collapse.
And it's very possible. But they still have the guns. and they're still hanging people, and there's still a blackout, with regard to information. So, it's tough to know what the heck is actually going on in Iran. Even the Ayatollah Mojtaba Khomeini, I mean, he's, as I said earlier, he's on the back of a milk carton. Nobody knows where the heck this guy is. Since he became the leader last month. The New York Post is reporting that he's apparently been so badly wounded in the strike that killed his father that he can hardly speak. He needs severe plastic surgery. He needs a prosthetic leg. Just yesterday, Trump posted on Truth Social, Iran is having a very hard time figuring out who their leader is. I mean, we just talked about that. Do you think that the IRGC has basically been in charge of this whole thing since the war began? The father was more revolutionary, but do you think the IRGC is really the one that holding the cards right now?
100%. As you said, they have all the guns, but they're also controlling the situation politically. Vahidi, the head of the Revolutionary Guards, is very close to Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the former Ayatollah. They have been running things together out of the Supreme Leader's office for many, many years already. He is reportedly the only one who actually talks to Mojtaba in person. He goes to his hospital to talk to him in person. So yes, those two are joined at the hip, and I think that they are calling all the shots.
So we're headed to Islamabad for negotiations this weekend, and that Vice President J.D. Vance is on standby, ready to jet over there to close the deal if it comes to that. Your reaction, is this another rope-a-dope by the Iranians? And I guess it will really depend on who walks in that door with whatever they're proposing, huh?
That's true. But boy, Carol Levitt, what a professional, what an amazing person. Staying as late as she possibly can in her presidency to do her job for the president and for the American people. I think this is another rope-a-dope. The Iranians are going to come up with some small concession. Again, they are desperate to get the blockade lifted. So I think that's going to be their demand. They want to see what they can offer the United States in exchange for getting the blockade lifted. That gives them a lifeline. That extends the lifespan of the regime. They could be offering, okay, we won't intercept ships any longer. We'll let them flow freely through the Strait of Hormuz. That's kind of what I expect they're going to do. But it's not going to be a big breakthrough negotiation. They're not going to make concessions on the missiles or the nukes. At least I would be very, very surprised to hear that.
And if they don't, and that's really what this all boils down to, they have to say the magic words of no more nuclear ambitions, and the Strait of Hormuz will be open and free traffic and flow. If they don't say that this weekend, and Wickoff and Kushner get the sense, like they did last time, that they're just being jerked around, you have to wonder how long it'll be before Trump pushes the button again and the bombs start hitting those targets that will really hurt Iran.
This president has a historic opportunity to remove the Middle East central threat, the threat that has been has been there for 47 years against Israel, against Lebanon, against Saudi Arabia, against all of its neighbors. And I can't see Donald Trump going halfway. He's ripped the scab off the wound, so to speak, with the first 39 days of war. I cannot see him stopping before the military effort is over, and it's not yet over. He has more damage to do to the Revolutionary Guard. I think he has to make them understand that they can no longer wage war or threaten their neighbors. And by the way, I've said many, many times, the Iranian regime has zero right to enrich uranium, no matter what they say. They have been found in violation of the Non-Proliferation Treaty by the IAEA since, get this, 2003. Since 2003. And they've never cured those violations. So that's something that everybody has to wrap their arms around. The Iranian regime can have zero enrichment and zero nuclear technology. They have no right to it under the NPT, the Non-Proliferation Treaty.
Yeah, and they've never really been held to account. That's why they keep getting away with it. The UN is toothless. The IAEA is toothless. Our presidents, up until Donald Trump, have been toothless. And that's why they can't figure this guy out. Why did he bomb us? And, is he for real? I mean, obviously he is. So finally, Ken Timmerman, thanks so much.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me on.